For players, a World Cup year is very important. If you really want to represent your country on the biggest stage, that is the season when you have to be exceptional on the pitch and very smart with your decisions off it. Well, some players have shown that kind of inventiveness this season, and it's looking like it's going to pay off big for them this summer. Who are some of these players we are referring to here? We'll find out in this video today. These are 10 players who are only going to the World Cup because of a recent transfer move.
Hey Goal 90 family, what's good? The World Cup season is here and you already know the vibes on this channel. So for everyone who's been rocking with us, Goal 90 Shop has World Cup jerseys for the whole squad. Men, women and kids. Whatever country you're repping, we've got ya. Home kits, away kits, clean classics and the loud ones. Instant match day energy. And it's love from us. Free shipping worldwide. Grab yours now and let's run this tournament together.
Top of the list has to be Endrick. At the beginning of the season, he was condemned to the Real Madrid bench and had little to no hope of going to the World Cup, but halfway into the season, he decided to leave and go out on loan, and it turned out to be the best decision for him. He absolutely blew up at Lyon, contributing to 7 goals in his first 5 appearances for the club. The teenager showed that he could be a very valuable attacking asset for Brazil, forcing Carlo Ancelotti to call him up for the preparation games. In the game against Croatia, he went further to prove how valuable he can be, coming off the bench to create 2 goals and help Brazil win the game. If Endrick had remained at Real Madrid, he would not even have been in the World Cup conversation by now, so you can definitely say that he's heading to North America with the Seleção simply because of his transfer move in the winter window. But he's not even the only Brazilian on this list. There's another player who's in Ancelotti's squad right now simply because of a move he made this season. Do you know who we're talking about here? Take a guess in the comments, we'll see if you're right soon. While you're there, if you aren't yet subscribed to the channel, go do that right away so you never miss out on our amazing content. Now, back to the video. Another striker this definitely applies to is Hugo Ekitike. Is he a good player? Definitely. But had he still been at Eintracht Frankfurt, he certainly would not have been a shoo-in for the France World Cup squad as he is now. The France national team is very competitive, especially in the attacking positions, so talent is often not enough. You also have to have the reputation, and for young players like Ekitike, that comes from playing for big clubs. You know, like Liverpool. Ekitike, proving that he can perform for a big club in a tough league like the Premier League, surely convinced Deschamps that he is good enough for France, hence the call-up. I mean, he wasn't bad at Frankfurt, but he still didn't get his France senior team debut until he moved to Liverpool last summer. That alone tells you all you need to know. And you can actually say the same for Cherki. Cherki has actually been really solid for some years now, but despite how good he was for Lyon, every international break, we would still see him go off to play for France's under-21s. There was even a period when fans started to ask why he continued to play for the youth teams when he was obviously a top talent. Well, once again, it's all about reputation. Cherki only made his France senior team debut in June after it was confirmed that he would be moving to Manchester City. Now he already has a confirmed place at the World Cup simply because of that transfer move. If he was still at Lyon, we just don't see him even being considered. And honestly, we can say the same about Garcia. The 24-year-old has been a solid goalkeeper for more than a year now. In fact, you could argue that he was the best goalkeeper in La Liga last season with Espanyol after having finished the season as the keeper with the most saves in the league, but De La Fuente still didn't give him a call-up. It was not until he moved to Barcelona last summer that he finally got the recognition of the coach and earned his first senior team call-up and subsequent debut. Now, he will likely not start, but Garcia is guaranteed a place in Spain's World Cup squad, and it is simply because he moved to Barcelona at the beginning of the season. But it's not just about moving to top clubs, you know, like in Dominic Calvert-Lewin's case, for example, he moved to a newly promoted club and it changed his life. Before his move to Leeds last summer, he had no hope at all of getting a call up to the England team. In fact, everyone said that he was finished and it felt like he was far away from ever making a return to England. But he left Everton as a free agent and moved to newly promoted Leeds. And despite a pretty slow start, he managed to turn things around for himself. He had a run of 7 goals in 6 games, 3 of them against City, Liverpool and Chelsea, and he became the first Leeds player to win the Premier League Player of the Month award since Rio Ferdinand 24 years ago. In this kind of form, he became impossible to ignore, so Tuchel gave him his first England call-up in 5 years. Being the second highest scoring Englishman in the Premier League right now, Calvert-Lewin is expected to be Harry Kane's backup at the World Cup, and it's all thanks to his transfer move to Leeds last summer. Another English player who belongs on this list is Quansa. Had he not left Liverpool and moved to Bayer Leverkusen in the summer, he would not even be in the World Cup conversation right now. Yeah, Liverpool is a bigger club, but when he was there, Quansa was nothing more than a fringe player. But he moved to Leverkusen where he started to play more frequently, and that's what earned him the consideration. And the fact that he didn't make his England debut in all his years at Liverpool but did so in his first season at Leverkusen is evidence of this. And you know what else substantiates this? The fact that Joe Gomez is not even being considered for the England squad. If Quansa was still at Merseyside, he would be exactly like Joe Gomez right now. And we just could not forget Marcus Rashford. Over the last few years, he had drifted further and further away from the England squad. He wasn't called up for the 2024 Euros, and with how things were going for him at Man United, no one was really expecting him to be called up for the 2026 World Cup either. But well, last summer he managed to get a move to Barcelona, and that changed everything for him. I mean, we might not have vintage Rashford back yet, but we're talking about one of only a handful of players to boast double figures in goals and assists in Europe this season, and the fact that he's doing that for one of the biggest clubs in the world simply meant that Tuchel could not ignore him. Essentially, that loan move to Barcelona last summer saved Rashford and secured him a place at this summer's World Cup. Now, remember we said that there's another Brazilian on this list. It is Andrés Santos. He is a good midfielder who deserves to be in the Brazil squad, but it is pretty clear that the exposure he got after his move to Chelsea is the main reason he is a confirmed name on Ancelotti's World Cup list. Yes, he made his Brazil debut back in 2023, but he was never considered for the first team squad again after then, not until his move to Chelsea was confirmed. Even while he was doing really well at Strasbourg, he never got a Brazil call-up. So it's actually not crazy to say that he is only going to the World Cup because of his recent move to Chelsea. Next, let's talk about João Felix. Up until his move to Al Nassr last summer, things just seem to have been getting worse and worse for him with each passing day. His move to Chelsea, Barcelona, then Chelsea again, before going to AC Milan didn't do him much good. He was turning into this very talented guy who just could not fit in anywhere. With Portugal spoiled for choice all over the pitch, it was looking like Felix would have to miss out on the 2026 World Cup, but he moved to Al Nassr to link up with captain Cristiano Ronaldo, and he has been doing well over there, having now been involved in 36 goals in 37 appearances for the club. Finally, Noah Lang is a guy who surely belongs on this list. He moved to Napoli in the summer and he thought that that was going to be a massive step up in his career. But after only a few months, it started to feel like the opposite. He was hardly starting games and wasn't really getting opportunities to prove himself to the national team coach. So in January, he decided to leave after just 6 months at the club. He took a loan move to Galatasaray, where he is now a more important player, and we think that move might just have helped him secure a place in Ronald Koeman's squad for this summer's World Cup. Anyway, it is now time to hear from you guys. Are there more players you think are only going to the World Cup because of a recent transfer move? Drop their names in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, turn on the bell notification so you never miss out on new content. Catch you in the next one. Bye.